Hi, I'm Heather Mitchell. I'm an Arbonne independent consultant and also the creator of Virtually ENVPs and the Virtually ENVPs Facebook group. There are quite a few new people over the last few weeks, and I have gotten a bunch of questions of people saying, can you just give me the overview of what the system is? Tell me a little bit more about it. And I figured that the easiest way to do that would be to create a quick little video tutorial that we can refer people back to. So first of all, a lot of people, one of the things we've learned recently is that a lot of people are either finding the group or being added to the group on a mobile device. And so they don't realize that at the top of the group, if they actually go to the group, not just looking in their news feed, that there's instructions for how to get to our training site. So if you go to facebook.com/groups/virtually ENVPs, you'll see that there's a pinned post at the top of the group that has a link to our training site. And also that information is in the picture at the top of the group. So if you just click on that, what you're going to see is that you need to register and confirm that the company that you work with is Arbonne and put your NVP's name in. And that's for compliance reasons. They asked us to make sure that all of our training materials were behind a locked screen so that only Arbonne consultants are plugging into it. But you can set up your own username and password, and then you'll be able to log in and get to all the training materials. Once you log in, the system is set up really simply. It's step 1, step 2, step 3. The Get Ready is going to give you the overview of what the training looks like. Get Set Up is exactly how to set up the system. It takes about 5 minutes. It's really quick and easy. And then Grow is training for how to use the system. And the first thing that you're going to want to do is to either print the workbook or save it to your iPad so that you can open it up in iBooks. And there is a launch checklist regardless of whether you have an existing business and you're just adding this to your in-person activity, or if you're brand new to the business and your team is using virtual and you want to walk step by step, it'll walk you through that. So basically, you'll open up the workbook. After a quick letter, there's a table of contents so that you can quickly find things after you've gone through it once. I definitely recommend that you use this as a guide when you're working your business, because you can refer back to it and quickly and easily find the things that you need on the table of contents. And then the page down here, this is the checklist. So what we're going to do today, so that I can kind of show you the basics of how the system actually works, because we have an Arbonne template set up in a customer relationship management software that's online. And so that's what I'm going to show you how that works. And so what we want to do is jump down to how to invite, and we're actually going to go through that process. I'm going to do a quick little tutorial to show you how the system works. So that's on page 15. And we're just going to flip through here. And so basically, as long as you follow these 3 tips at the top, you're good to go. So we give you some examples of verbiage, but really the most important thing is that you are connecting with people individually and privately. Don't send any group messages. And that you check with them first before sending your guest profile. You get a much higher response rate that way. And then also just keeping your communication short, with as much as people are inundated with messaging and advertising and all that kind of stuff, you don't want to send a big long message of all the reasons that they should fall in love with Arbonne before they have even expressed any interest in it. And so the easiest way to do this is to just simply copy and paste one of these messages, unless you're going to write your own, because you might be inviting them to a 28-day detox, or maybe you're inviting them specifically to look at the opportunity. So whatever is relevant to your situation and the reason that you're inviting them to take a look, you can, as long as you follow those 3 tips, you're good to go. But I'm just going to copy and paste this into a Facebook message. And so I'm going to send it to my daughter, Eden, maybe, if Facebook lets me get to my messages here. Okay, so Eden. And I'm just going to paste that in here. And then you can, always just read through it and see that it is relevant. So I'm going to say, hi, Eden. Can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks, because she's coming for a visit. And so really that's that first sentence where we say, you know, put something in. It's literally just to make it personal. And backspace there so it's formatted properly. And then I'm good to go. And if you wanted to word it differently, that'd be fine too. But basically what you're going to do is invite them to take a look. After they respond and say, yeah, sure, I'll take a look. What the system allows you to do is to send them. So this is what the system looks like. And there's a profiles tab that has a guest profile, which is just a quick intro and it gives you some great information. I'm going to show you that in a minute. And then there's follow-up profiles that have videos about skincare, becoming a consultant, or the nutrition products that ask them additional information so that really your conversation is centered around helping them with what are their needs. And this is what they look like. So they're all basically the same format. There's a video at the top with a quick note from you. When you fill out the form for Zenplify, it's going to automatically feed your information into the system. So it'll be personalized with your information. And then what the guest does is they fill out this information and they're going to tell you, you know, I'm using such and such grocery store brands for nutrition, and maybe I'm shopping for, you know, whatever brands at department store for my skincare. You know, this is how I like to chat. We always recommend a quick phone call after you get their guest profile, regardless of how they like to chat. But then you can do a lot of the follow-up by Facebook or text or email. And then they're going to tell you, these two questions are great because they're going to tell you what things they're struggling with that Arbonne has a solution for with either their health or their skincare, so that you kind of have that information before you initiate the conversation, and it can be really centered around them. And then they'll also tell you what products they're using that would be relevant to redirect their spending from what they're already buying at the grocery store or the department store that Arbonne has. And then they'll let you know what their budget is per month if they were to get all that in one shopping trip. And then the magic wand question, you know, what would you change if you could? And then what are you interested in? This is, again, giving you information of how you can best serve them. This question's great. Have you ever used Arbonne before? That's important because if they have, you want to check to see if they have a current consultant and send them back. That's one of the things we love about Arbonne. And just a couple other questions. And this, again, is a great question that's going to let you know right from the beginning, at least initially, are they looking at this and thinking they might be interested in being a consultant and promoting the products if they fall in love? Or would they be interested in being a virtual host? Obviously, if you're working your business in person, they might be interested in doing an in-person party if they are in your local area, or no thank you. And then a newsletter question if you've got a newsletter. And then they're just going to submit this, and I'll show you what happens both on their end and also on your end after they've submitted that profile. They get this nice little thank you page that says, you know, thanks so much. Are you willing, you know, are you ready to take the next step with your health, your beauty? These are links to the nutrition profile. So I'll show you that. And that has the 30 days to feeling fit. And again, another profile there. And this is the skincare. So those are both immediately accessible to them if they want to just kind of keep clicking through, but they're also going to get a copy of those in their email. So if they don't have time to keep investigating right now, they're going to get a follow-up email so they could do it later. And my phone just buzzed because I use a Gmail in Zenplify, and then I have the Gmail app on my phone, and I have it set so that every time I get a new profile, because it gets emailed to you, it immediately shows up and buzzes my phone for me. So you can see that when I check my email, I have a copy of that guest profile in my email, and it comes to my phone. So no matter where I am, and if I can't call her right away, I could send her a quick little email and say, thanks for your profile, whatever, you know, just little chit chat. And she's going to get that automated message from the system too. And that looks like this. So she just gets a quick little me, thanks again for submitting the profile. If you're interested in nutrition, you can click here. Skincare is cosmetics, click here. Working with Arbonne, click here. And it takes her to those profiles. And then inside the system, if I go to my to-do list now, it's going to tell me that I have a new guest profile from Eden and that I want to process that guest profile. So I'm going to click on Eden's name, and I'll have the same copy that got delivered to my email is going to be here in the system. and it tells me all this great information about her, all of her responses. I can call and follow up with her. And basically what we teach in training is that that's all about having a conversation about her, asking her questions, finding out more information. You know, she indicated that she is dissatisfied with her weight. I'm really going to ask her, you know, what have you tried so far and what worked for you, what didn't work for you, and let her do most of the talking and then recommend the next step for her, whether that is trying samples, joining a detox group, watching the next step videos, whatever that is. I can take notes over here and I can say that I mailed her calm samples on April 3rd. So you can basically keep running notes on your little notepad. And then it's also going to tell me the history. So like it shows me that it sent that email to her. And if I want to see what that email looks like that I sent to her, I can see a copy of it here in the system. The other thing that it shows me is that if I come up here to the top, it's going to tell me that she was automatically added to the guest group and that the next thing in the process is to process the guest profile. So after I talk to her, I'm going to check that off my list. And then when I refresh this page, it's going to show me that the next thing that I want to do is mail samples. And so sometimes I mail samples and sometimes I don't. It depends on my conversation with them. A lot of them just buy nutrition right away and jump into one of the detox groups, but other ones I send skincare samples and maybe a fizzy stick. So I can either skip that if I don't mail samples, or I can take notes about the samples I mail and check the box. So we'll just pretend that I skipped it this time, that she's already in a detox group. So let's say she made a purchase right away. So I skipped that. And then I'm also going to come down here because she joined to the groups. She purchased a fit kit and became a new client. She's not ready to join the business yet, but she's getting started. And so when I edit the profile and when I save those changes, I'll show you what happens after that. Now she's in the campaigns for clients and purchasing a fit kit. And go over to the campaign here so I can show you that depending on what groups and campaigns you add them to, oops, that's a reorder, new client customer service. So they'll get a welcome message, and it also has a video to show them how to use the preferred advantage and make the most of their preferred client account if they got a preferred client account. And if they didn't get a preferred client account, they see what they're missing. So maybe next time around, they will get a preferred client account. And then a few days later, 5 days later, it's going to send them another message to check in and see if they got their order. And then a week later, it's going to check in with them to give them more information about the Preferred Advantage program. And then 3 weeks later, so before their 45 days, it's going to check to see if they're loving their products. So all that client follow-up is happening, which some of us might or might not be super consistent with. And that all happens for a new client automatically when you add them to that group, so that you're double checking to make sure, and they're getting messages saying, hey, I'm just checking in with you to make sure you got everything. Are you loving everything? Do you need help with anything? Every single time. So 100% consistency. And then because she got the fit kit, there's also support for that. So you can add them to a group if you have a group on Facebook, or we have a big group called Virtually Fit on Facebook where people can get recipes and get encouragement and that sort of thing. And then after you do that and you check off that task, they're going to start getting emails that are going to help them prep their kitchen. It's going to help show them how to do their measurements, encourage them to drink more water, get moving, all the things that are sort of support for that 30-day fit kit. I think that pretty much shows you how the system works. That's the basics. And obviously we have more information in our training page, but at least now you have an overview of how that system works. If I come back over here to give you an overview of our system, we invite people to take a look. After they say yes, we send them that link. We process their profile, so we're asking them questions and listening, and then we do the follow-up for them depending on whether they're trying a sample, making a purchase, or starting a business. And then when they do the business launch, we just plug them right into the system and the process starts over again. So feel free to post questions. There's a ton of people that have been using the system for quite a while who can give you more information after you've had a chance to watch this. And we are grateful to have you in the group. Welcome to VENVPs.